ever been trying to show off leaving a car meet in your 79 to 04 Mustang and accidentally spun out and hit a crowd and took out little Timmy? In today's video, I am going to be showing you how not to do that in a one simple mod video. Without further ado, let's get into it. So this here is my 1999 Mustang GT project that we got actually as a drift car build. This has a 464 valve swap and a T45. We did the full interior all here on this YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it, go ahead and click the link in the description. We got the full playlist down there. But in today's video, we are going to be installing a Synergy angle kit. This is a very good budget build car, and this is probably the best angle kit for your budget. This angle kit costs about $1,000, which does sound kind of daunting, but it is very worth it. It is way cheaper than, say, an FDF kit, and better than just cutting your knuckles and welding crap to it. Has actual suspension geometry. So we're going to be installing that in today's video, getting this car all dialed in and ready to go hit the next drift event and actually be able to slide, because factory, these new edges have 0 degrees of steering angle. Alrighty boys, so we got the car inside and up on the lift. We're getting ready to go ahead and start tearing apart all the stock suspension, which includes taking off the brake calipers, the lower control arms. You got to pull the power steering rack to get the front lower control arm bolt off. We got coilovers. One of the big things with this kit is you have to have coilovers on the car. If you don't have coilovers, it's not going to work. So you got to have coilovers. It deletes the spring perch. The other thing is we got to do some serious cutting. So coming along here, you can see we've already marked this out. We're going to cut it. If you don't feel like cutting your K-member, that's perfectly fine. You're just going to have to adjust the bump steer, but I've already had issues with clearance. I'm gonna start cutting things because I just don't care anymore. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and start by ripping everything out. Just some bolts up here, bolts down here, outer tie rod, all that stuff. All this is getting replaced by the new angle kit, and just looking at the angle kit, it looks phenomenal. So we have the angle kit down here in front of me, and I'm just gonna show you a little bit about it. So we got the lower control arms here. Like I said, replaces the stock style. This is why you cannot run coilovers, is because the spring perches are different. I've already got all of this adjusted, which we'll talk about a little bit when I go ahead and get to installing them. And then coming along here, we have these pieces right here. These bolt to the bottom of the knuckle. I've already got the Ackerman plates set up with the bolts going through to adjust to the new tire rods. I'll talk about this when we go ahead and put the knuckles on, but we got everything all installed, and these are some fine freaking pieces, dude. Comes with all the hardware, new outer tie rod pieces, all Heim joint everything. It's gonna help this car slide so much better. That was the biggest problem I faced with this car in my first drift event, was the fact that you could see the wheel ate everything, including my wiring harness up in here that's now nicely rewrapped and reran with zip ties. But it ate everything, and it hit a lot of things. You can see where it hit back there too. So we're fixing all of that, getting more angle out of it. And these cars come with around 30 degrees stock. We're gonna be going all the way up to over 60 degrees. 60 plus degrees is what's advertised by this kit. And we're gonna use absolutely all of it drifting this Mustang. So without further ado, let me stop talking. Let's go ahead and take all of this factory stuff off and get all the good, nice angle stuff on. Chat, do I look good? Raven's on the time lapse over there, so if you're watching him struggle, hit that like and subscribe button. So we are starting off by removing brake caliper, which is some 15s, and then we're gonna remove this tie rod, which is a cotter pin there, and then an 18, and then I have these bolts, which is a 21 here, and then on this side here, it's a 24. That takes that out, and then finally, last but not least, is gonna be the lower ball joint that looks exceptionally not existent on this car. So we're doing a massive favor, because all of these bushings are completely blown out. Like you could even see, like right there, literally everything is blown out in this front end. Like, so I mean, you know, Betty White, Snow White, whatever her name, Snow Bunny, whatever Tyler called this thing, Snow Bunny has a blown out front end, better than a rear end. So take that as you will. Boys, I just had a freaking mental breakdown, because Raven goes, I started loosening some bolts, but didn't tell me which ones they were until my ball joint was completely freaking loose. Took the tie rod off, which always break your jam nut first. But Jesus, dude, I like looked at it, I was like, yo, how did I drift on this? And then he goes, I loosened it already.
You're welcome.
Thank you for giving me an actual heart attack. I thought I was just Jesus drifting this car, because I thought my ball joint was just not connected. Now I just realized I still suck. Alrighty boys, so as you can see, we got the entire front suspension disassembled, minus the lower control arm. That was low-key a pain, but everything here is completely blown out. And I went ahead and cut the dust shield off this side, because you got to cut the dust shield off for this kit. So I went ahead and cut that off using my handy dandy angle grinder, or cutoff wheel thingy-mabobber. So all I have to do is remove the front knuckle, which our front control arm, which is gonna be fun considering there's a bolt right down there, which means I'm probably gonna have to pull this power steering rack forward a little bit to get that bolt out. But I think that's what I'm gonna tackle next. The worst part about owning a 464 valve car is the stupid, pointless oil coolers. You can fight me. These 464 valves have stupid oil coolers, and it makes it where the power steering rack doesn't come out very, very easily. So to get the front bolt off, I'm currently gonna cut it. What?
Small struggles, small wins.
I don't know. What's a win? Well, boys, we got one side completely torn apart, ready to go back together. But first, we have to do a little bit of trimming. As you can see, we got a little cut line going along right there. We're gonna trim that up, get it all dialed in because we got some rubbish. I wanna have as much freaking angle as I possibly can get on this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and cut that, and then we're gonna go ahead and show you how to assemble the A-arms and get everything together for the Synergy kit. All right, so we got the lower A-arm installed here on the driver's side. As you can see, we just got the bolts ran through there. So you'll essentially see here, we have these backed off to where there's 5 to 6 threads showing here on this end. And then down here on the bigger joints, you got about 1 to 2 threads. Essentially, that's adjusting your lower arm length and your, I think, caster. I don't know. I don't really know that much. I'm kind of dumb, not gonna lie. But we got this set up. This is exactly how they tell you in the instructions from Synergy. So I just set it up like that. They said you can adjust this one for your angle. So I just did the 2 threads because honestly, the wheel setup on this thing, as you can see, hit really badly. So I'm kind of trying to push it out as far as I can without adding a whole lot of spacers. So we got everything cut out there. Everything's looking to be in pretty good shape. Now I just got to do the knuckle, get everything cut for that. So I'm gonna show you that right fast. All right, so I got the knuckle down here. I'll give you a quick demonstration about what I'm talking about cutting the knuckle. So the reason I said you got to remove the brake dust shield is because one of the mounting points is no longer going to be there. So you can see I cut this bottom one off here with my grinder. If you are afraid of using a grinder, this is not the install for you because there's a lot of cutting involved. But I essentially have this billet lower piece here. I set it up so this sets up Ackerman angle here, this little adjustable piece here. We got 2 plates that came in the kit. You're going to want to make sure to run your bolts facing upwards. That way when you loosen this nut, if you want to adjust your Ackerman, you don't have to worry about it because it's going to sit, if I can sit this bigger bolt back in here, give me that. It's going to sit right there. So that kind of slots into where your lower ball joint used to go. Slots in down like that. And then that lines up into where your old tie rod used to go. And like I said, you want your bolts to have the nuts facing upwards. That way you can loosen it and drop the bolt out the bottom. If you want to adjust this plate for your Ackerman, and then you also want it that way so that this bolt slides down because you do not want this bolt to come out because that is where your ball joint or your tie rod's going to go. So it's got a key, crucial to have it facing like this, but that is essentially how you're going to set this billet bracket up. So like I said, you're going to have to cut this off right there. That's why you got to remove the dust shield. So just want to give you a quick visual representation. Raven's tighten up those lowers. So once you get the lowers in on the lower control arm, you essentially put the sleeves through there, bolts through there, nuts on. Everything's good there. What I like to do is tighten the knuckle up here. As you could see how I was talking about cutting down that mount there. Have your bolts how they come down here like this. Your nuts up top like that so you can adjust your Ackerman there. And then this one actually has the bolt go through the bottom side. It's very well machined. Bolt goes through there, nut goes on top. That holds that to the knuckle there. And then next you can take your lower control arm bolt, which is a giant bolt that runs through. And then it has 2 of these smaller sized, or I guess kind of bigger, you'll see diameter wise how they go, but they're the shorter ones. There is a longer one like this. This is the longer one. This is actually gonna go onto your tie rod here. So the tie rod here, essentially what I do is I back this all the way off and I thread this as far on as I can get it to go. That's just gonna allow me to have the most amount of adjustment because you're gonna actually tighten the heim joint that goes in here up and just align off of here like you would normally. So that's what I'm gonna do for that and leave that be. So now all I gotta do essentially is stick this on like that and put the heim in there and then go ahead and get that all set up while Raven finishes tightening that up, and then we should be pretty good to button most of this knuckle up. Alrighty boys, so we got most everything put back together on these knuckles. The only thing I didn't mention was torquing everything down. He has the instructions. I'll link them down in the description down below, but he gives all the torque specs. We definitely torqued them to there and not ugga-duggas. But the last thing we got to do is install this bolt that goes through the bottom side of the control arm with the jam nut to essentially set our not bump steer, but our steering amount to make sure we do not hit anything. Essentially can change how much degrees it allows it to move, whatever. But that includes putting this bracket on that goes on the back side around like this, essentially in a U, and then mounts in between the caliper bracket. So we'll put the rotor on, put this on, mount it in there, and that should be it. I got the other side, the driver's side, completely done. So I just gotta put this in, and then we're gonna put it on the ground and hope for the best. It is currently like 9 o'clock, so not feeling great there. So I just wanted to play with it up on the air just to see what it looks like. It looks freaking insane. So as you can see, driver's side, pretty much coming to the front of the car is pretty much almost 90 degrees. It looks crazy. I mean, definitely see the 60+ degrees of angle they're talking about here. It's crazy looking up here and seeing how much room is in the back area of this wheel, dude. It is ridiculous. And coming over here to the passengers, I mean, just look, dude, you could fit a turbo right here with how much space it has. I mean, it's crazy. And like I said, like, this is maxed out pretty much, and it's not even close to the bump stops yet. So the thing is, we cut a good bit out of there. You can see where we cut. You definitely needed to cut that if you wanted all this angle. But it looks freaking insane, and she's just wild, bro. It's just wild. Now, granted, my brakes are pretty trash, so they're locked up pretty badly right now, but it just looks ridiculous. Spins over free. And these are 235s on the front. Dude, it's gonna be insane. So next, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the alignment rack, see what I can do to get this thing aligned and just dialed in now. So we got everything dialed in. The clips from earlier in this video were right after installing the angle kit. We got the angle kit on, and man, this thing freaking shreds. This is probably the best feeling new edge car I've even driven. It drives insane down the road. You would expect with all of the angle, all of the camber, it would drive like trash, but it actually drives better than it did beforehand. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. It just makes being a novice driver up to a whole nother level, being able to actually control the car. And instead of just trying to, you know, slide a course, I'm now trying to place the car where I want to on course, which is a whole nother realm that I was not able to achieve without the Synergy kit. So honestly, it is worth every penny, the $1,000 you spend on it. And it's really not that hard to install. If you've done any suspension work, you pretty much got it. So I think it's just worth the money. And I did skip a few things. I wanted to go hot boys. So instead of running the, I think, -3 degrees, 3 to 5 degrees of camber they say to run, I have -8 because you know what, we ball. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much gonna be it for today's video. If you've been following along with the series on this build, this now makes $3,500 that I am into this car. So we are at $3,500. I got a really rough, like $6,500 total budget that I wanna put into this thing to drift it for this season and next season. So yeah, we're about halfway through the budget on this thing, but honestly, it's really good. I think I'm to the time. I don't need mods. I just need seat time in the car, which makes me really excited. But yeah, guys, make sure to like and subscribe to watch more drifting content of our new edge here. We are going to be shredding out here shortly. Brandon is currently putting a motor in his 3 valve because he blew the other one up. And then this thing, I don't know how long this 464 valve is going to last because I like banging it off limiter. But yeah, we're gonna have a good time over the last few days, or the last few months of this season here in North Carolina, drifting this car. But anyways, guys, I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out and see you in the next video.